What we saw yesterday on the debate was a catastrophe for the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris, and Tim Walz all together. That's because of the fact that Tim Walz is not with the common class of people. He instead surrounds himself with the upper tier class of liberals in San Francisco or LA, and he has no idea what the actual people of the United States want from a vice presidential candidate because he keeps on pushing the same policies that got us into this very disaster. For the last 12 out of 16 years, we had leftists in control of the White House. First, we had Obama. Then Obama's VP became the president. That's Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden's VP may well become president. Now, this is not a good thing. There's some likelihood of this happening. This was the 12 out of the 16 years. So if we don't like the way that the White House has turned into in the way that the White House is governing, then why the heck would we put the same exact people in charge that actually caused this mess? It just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, Tim Walz is now regretting this decision altogether because of the fact that he completely obliviated himself because he can't answer any questions. And that's a sad reality that we have a vice president that is going to a potential vice president that might end up in the White House that completely destroyed Minnesota, completely allowed people that are destroying his own state to keep on doing the same exact thing. So it's a sad reality that we have Tim Walz over here, but it's an even sadder reality that we have a person that has absolutely no experience, Kamala Harris, running to be president. So let's cover the debate yesterday. So first, Tim Walz claims that border crossings are down under Biden-Harris, which is absolutely not the truth whatsoever. Border encounters have skyrocketed under the Biden-Harris administration, with Customs and Border Patrol reporting around 10 million encounters since Biden and Harris took office. Completely agree. And then Vance says that there's a threat to democracy, which I agree with. Quote, I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country. It is a threat of censorship. It is Americans casting away lifelong friendships over politics. I 100% agree with that. It's a reality that we have to live with now. Vance says that he'll respect the results of the election because he should. Quote, if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll be in my best wishes, and he'll have my help, whatever he needs it. Vance then observes that Democrats refuse to elect the legitimacy of the 2016 election, of course, because almost every single time that they complain about something, it's actually them that is doing it. So Russia, we actually have blatant news or blatant facts that show Joe Biden is connected to Russia. And then we have blatant facts that actually go over the foreign influence peddling with Joe Biden. But not just that. Joe Biden actively, or Kamala Harris, I should say, because that's Joe Biden's vice president, got Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, shipped over to a swing state, Pennsylvania, just last week. So how are we going to impeach Trump for reportedly having a call with Zelensky to find dirt on Joe Biden in 2020, and we're not going to prosecute Kamala Harris for actually shipping Zelensky straight with taxpayer funding to Pennsylvania to rally for Kamala Harris? We're not going to prosecute him for that or her for that. It just doesn't make any sense. Vance touts endorsements by RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. Vance said on Tuesday night that he was proud to receive the support of RFK Jr., who was initially mounting on an independent presidential campaign before dropping out and backing the Trump campaign, as well as former Congressman Tulsi Gabbard. Gabbard, who ran as the Democratic presidential candidate in 2020, was a widely credited for taking down Kamala's first run as president. Both Kennedy and Gabbard have hit the trail for Trump in recent weeks. Then Walz focuses on Kamala Harris's politics of joy in closing statement. Walz says that Harris is focused on solving the issues affecting the middle class through joy, which completely makes no sense at all because of the fact that we're not having joy. And not just that, but the thing is, we're not having joy in this economy. I mean, if she wants to sit here and say that she was brought up in a middle class family, quote unquote, and she's from a community that loved their lawn, it just does not make any sense because both of her parents were law professors, um, teaching at universities, so they got a pretty hefty paycheck every single time. So if she was in the middle class, it's like upper to higher class people, not the regular middle class families. Vance then hammers economy in closing statement. JD Vance slammed the Biden-Harris administration's policies on the economy, saying that Trump is ready to fix America's economic issues because he's done it before. I completely agree. Look at 2016. And a lot of people are saying that JD Vance actually won this debate and Tim Walz actually failed it. And there was obviously a lot of people I mean, there's a lot of people saying that Tim Walz is just not cut out for this whatsoever because of the fact that he's asked one question and he does not even know how to answer it. He completely avoids the questions that he's asked, and and it looks like he's actually buffering. A lot of people are saying that he's buffering on slow Wi-Fi, because of the fact that he just does not know how to answer. He's asked a question and he completely avoids the question, but he doesn't do it in a way like Obama used to do, where it's elegant and you have the question factored into your response, but you're not answering the question completely. No, he just completely answers a different question, where the moderators just have to ask the question again. And then he just goes and answers the same question that he already answered, but that's not the question that they asked. So it just doesn't make any sense. And that's exactly why JD Vance should have went there and said, listen, he still didn't even answer the question. I'll answer the question. So, and then that pointed out yet again that he did not answer the question, which, yeah, I mean, if you don't answer the question that you're asked, you can't sit here and make attacks at your enemies, the people that you're facing off against, because of the fact that you can't even answer the question. And of course, we have the moderators trying to fact check JD Vance, but then cutting his microphone, which just makes absolutely no sense at all, because the moderators said that they will not be fact checking JD Vance, but then they go and try to fact check him. And then JD Vance goes and fact checks the moderators that are trying to fact check him. That's the most interesting thing. This is a article from the Daily Wire. The moderators of CBS's vice presidential debate, Noah O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan, became the story when they decided to fact check JD Vance live during a debate and then cut his microphone when he tried to respond, which doesn't make any sense. On Tuesday night, former President Donald Trump's running mate faced off, and however, when the issue of immigration and border crisis was brought up, Brennan broke the rules of CBS as agreed to with both candidates and decided to live fact check Vance on his comment about the migrant crisis in Springfield, Ohio. Brennan said, and just to qualify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporarily protected status. Vance then attempted to respond and said, as long as we're going to fact check him, as they are going to fact check him, CBS News violates their own rules, fact checks JD Vance, and cuts his mic as he's explaining Kamala Harris's open border.
And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
They're worried too. They're like, please, just stop, don't continue, please. And she's like, okay, let's continue. No, you're not going to just try to go and lie to the American public.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border.
You look over to Tim Walz, and he just looks so confused. He's like, like he looks like a deer in the headlights. He looks extremely weak. He looks confused. He looks like he doesn't even know what's going on. So I feel like this is the reincarnation of Joe Biden right here. I guess he's been talking to Joe Biden way too much because now Joe Biden's ways of debating people, like literally dying on stage before our very eyes, is rubbing off against Tim Walz over here. Tim Walz looks like a deer in a headlight. He doesn't even know what's going on.
That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP-1 app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something
they go and cut his microphone because of the fact that they know for a fact that he's telling the truth about the CB1 app that actually allows migrants to just go and get priority over all the other people that are showing up on the border. So the CB1 app actually tells Border Patrol that you're coming so they can expect you, and then they greet you at the border and then give you a package of aid, and then you, as soon as you claim asylum, then what you do is you just get brought into America, and then boom, you're already free. So that's what the app is. Obviously a lot of people are freaking out again about this. Obviously they weren't supposed to fact check, and yeah, they're fact checking if it was actual honest journalism and actual honest fact checking based on facts, then it would be a completely different story. But of course, this is CBS News. This is not an actual fact checking network. This is an actual leftist media network that actually just wants their ideals at the forefront and does not want to actually care about the actual facts. They just want to quote unquote fact check, but that fact check is all opinionated and full of their own ideals, not factual information whatsoever. That's what the most sad about it. The sad thing about all of this is because of the fact that they don't have an actual statistics, actual facts on their side. They instead have other things that's called their opinions that they try to interject and skew the facts in their favor for this. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this little sum up of the debate. I mean, obviously, J.D. Vance won. We already knew J.D. Vance was going to win because he's such a good debater. He's made for this. He's cut out for this. You can tell that he's really ready for mainstream. And I cannot wait to see him in the White House in November. That's why I will be voting. If you can vote early, vote now. Vote today. If you can vote today, this election is just very, very important. You need to vote today. Cast your vote. Make sure that you vote, okay? Now until Election Day. If you have early voting available, you don't know what's going to happen on Election Day. Your car might break down. You might get cold. You might get sick. You might be throwing up. I will walk through broken glass to vote for Donald J. Trump. So I don't have it a priority to go prior to Election Day. But like I said, I will walk to the polls to vote for Trump barefoot and over broken glass, like I said. So with that being said, that's going to sum up this episode. If you do like this episode and you do want to see more, I do post new episodes of the show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye.